previously on Life.
The Millennium Development Goals provide us, for the first time in history, with a shared vision.
The rich countries have to improve significantly, and so do the poor countries. There's no way we can achieve this without both doing their job.
Everybody talks about the international society. We don't have one. Some of us are trying to create one, and the MDGs is a tool in that endeavor.
China today has one of the fastest growing economies in the world. But with 1.3 billion people, it also has the largest population on Earth. Hundreds of millions of Chinese live far from the coastal regions generating this new wealth. Hunger, sickness, ignorance, and an early death are too often the fate of those left isolated and impoverished. The first of the UN's Millennium Development Goals, to eradicate extreme hunger and poverty, is designed to address their needs.
In 1978, the number of poor in China was 250 million. At the end of last year, it was 28.2 million. The percentage of people in poverty went from 30% to less than 3% of the rural population.
The Chinese government defines poverty as an individual surviving on less than 66 US cents per day. The World Bank defines absolute poverty as surviving on $1 US a day. So by its standards, there are many more Chinese living in poverty than the government acknowledges. But whichever measure is used, China's recent progress is remarkable.
When you look at the achievement of China in bringing the level of livelihood of 300 to 400 million people out of poverty to give them a better chance of life, you have to say that this is an accomplishment of historic proportions.
I think it is a story of two sides, and it is, of course, obviously, it is a good story. But behind the good news, there's a problem. And you have to look at that China is the fastest growing economy in the world, and then there are a lot of people become rich very fast. And that at the same time, the poor people are falling behind. And China has now become the country with the fastest growing inequality in the world.
In this program, Life looks at how China succeeded in freeing so many people from poverty, and whether it can now use the lessons learned to help poor communities throughout the rest of the country. In 1978, China introduced a bold new policy. Known as Reform the Economy and Open to the Outside World, it began a process that has transformed China and the lives of ordinary Chinese. One of the first and most important changes was called the Household Responsibility System. This ended centralized agricultural planning and returned land used for communal farms back to individual families. By freeing the productive capacity of millions, the policy aimed to become the single largest factor in helping China's rural poor escape from poverty. Nongqiu Xiaozu, a part of Xie village in China's southwest Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, is pretty far off the beaten track. Cut off from markets and technology, the people here always lived below the international $1-a-day poverty line. At 88, Wei Yunxing is the oldest person in the village.
Our dream was to have enough to eat, enough to wear, to have electricity, a telephone, and a two-story house.
The Southwest Poverty Reduction Project, initiated by the Chinese government with support from the World Bank, has provided basic infrastructure development like roads and electricity, allowing new information technologies to link the people with the wider world. Innovative water management systems have freed the villagers from the daily grind of fetching water.